So y'all ready to raise $100,000 or what?
Nobody asked. Nobody asked. Literally nobody asked it.
Nobody asked about this for way too long, so this time, I'm ready to ask. So I don't know if y'all been living under a rock or what, but today we're gonna be talking about one of the most vulnerable groups of people in Singapore. Migrant workers. In the last 48 hours, multiple clusters have formed and close to 20,000 people have been quarantined. And this is just migrant workers who live in dormitories. So if you don't have a soul, at this point you might be wondering, why should I care? Let me tell you why. Your pandemic reality is a glimpse of their everyday reality.
Preeti, are we gonna have to cancel our Bali vacay?
Oh my god, what's gonna happen to our yacht party?
Some employers are known to withhold the passports of migrant workers, even though that's illegal. Here's how quarantine life looks like for a lot of Singaporeans. You could be staying at home or serving your stay-home notice at hotels. Ironic, right? Who do you think built these hotels? Here are pictures from some of the dormitories where it's clearly overcrowded. The thought of living off your savings is really scary, but honestly, it's nothing compared to this. There's a reason why they've left their families and homes to come here to work in search for a better life and to provide for their families back at home. So we spoke to one of our migrant worker friends and here's what he said.
He will come to Singapore, but he have the loan money, and somebody give the home, somebody land give, and bank give the money. Then again come to Singapore haven't give the salary. Every month send the profit money bank to take this. But now we still have the loan. People are now worried to how to 1 month cannot work. They will cry, they will thinking how my family, how do I give money, how to eat my family. But he also cannot eat. Some have the company, more than company now haven't give salary. Then last month one now also haven't give. This month one don't know. This month cannot work, then don't know. And how to going the life.
Oh my god, babe, I've stayed home for 4 days already. I'm so bored, I wanna kill myself.
Yep, because staying at home is so tough that some of you guys out there are trivializing suicide like that. We always talk about migrant workers in clusters or big entities, but they're all individuals who come from very different circumstances. They have their own unique anxieties, traumas, hobbies, pre-existing health conditions, and addictions, just like you and me. The bulk of their income goes to providing for their families, so being unable to provide for themselves and their families really affects their psychological state of mind. While this may be triggering to some suicide cases in such migrant worker dormitories go unreported. And this is a very real fear for some migrant workers.
I know this situation. Many people, these things are 1 month or 2 months like this, the lockdown or other things they get attention after somebody has suicide, I think.
So now that you know what the reality is like for a migrant worker in Singapore, let's break down the press release from MOH that was published on the 5th of April. There are just 4 things I want to bring your attention to. Number 1, affected workers. In the press release, this phrase was used a couple of times. But what does affected migrant worker actually constitute? There is no clear definition. When you say affected, what do you mean? Do you mean those who are sick or those who are quarantined or both? And for those who aren't sick or quarantined, are they considered unaffected even though their work stops? Because if work stops, it sure sounds like they are affected. Number 2, salaries get paid. So the press release states that the workers will continue to be paid their salaries for the duration of the quarantine. But my question is, paid what? We don't have minimum wage in Singapore. Migrant workers don't work 9 to 5 jobs where you can easily calculate what their daily salaries would be. And they usually work overtime. So how will these salaries be tabulated? Will we be taking a 3-month average? Because it's really convenient to say they will be paid without being transparent. Number 3, hospitalization leave. The press release says that the period of absence from work will be treated as paid hospitalization leave as part of the workers' leave eligibility under the Employment of Foreign Manpower Act. Okay, so let's take a look at their hospital leave entitlement. This essentially means that only if you've worked for 6 months or more, you are entitled for 60 days of paid hospitalization leave. And if you have only worked for 3 months, you are entitled to only 15 days of paid hospitalization leave. So, hypothetical situation, if a migrant worker has been working at the job for 3 months, he would have 15 days of paid hospitalization leave. But if right now he is under the 14-day quarantine, this would literally mean he has 1 day of paid hospitalization leave left. And mind you, these migrant workers work high-risk manual labor jobs, and they may sustain major injuries at their workplace. This would mean they would have to use up their paid hospitalization leave days really rapidly. And if they only have 1 paid hospitalization leave day left, this runs the risk of someone not seeking medical attention for an injury because they would not have any more paid hospitalization leave dates for the rest of the year. Number 4. Meals. The press release says that arrangements will be made to cater 3 meals a day for all affected workers for the duration of the quarantine. This sounds great, but your caterers are not your usual LC's Kitchen or Orange Clove Catering. Migrant worker food caterers have been known to compromise food quality for profit. At a time like this, they obviously need proper nourishment. So we have chicken essence for the PSLE top scorers and Milo for every single Singaporean athlete. But anybody out there want to direct all these resources to the people who clearly need them the most? Also, migrant workers who are currently locked down in their dormitories could potentially get charged for the cleaning services and the catered food once the measures are lifted, if there is no oversight on their employers and the people running these dormitories. So let's rewind back to the start of this video. So y'all ready to raise $100,000 or what? This video needs to do way more than raise awareness, spark conversations, or bring light to the situation at hand. Trust me, I get it. It's so frustrating when individuals and organizations only speak up when it's profitable to them. I want to raise funds for 2 organizations that do some amazing on-ground work that directly address the needs of migrant workers in Singapore. The first organization is HealthServe. HealthServe seeks to serve disadvantaged migrant workers in Singapore through healthcare, counseling, casework, and social assistance. Specific to this pandemic, HealthServe has been tapping into their Migrant Health Relief Fund for relief. And on the 6th of April 2020, HealthServe gave out healthcare bags to special pass holders. And in case you're wondering what it means to be a special pass holder, special pass holders are migrant workers who can stay in Singapore to settle disputes but can't work, get paid, or stay in dorms. The second organization is Transient Workers Count 2, also known as TWC2. TWC2 is an NGO that focuses on 2 things: advocacy of problems faced by migrant workers. And number 2, they provide direct services like free meals, casework assistance, legal assistance, and medical services. Specific to this pandemic, they're also trying to get enough prepaid cards for the migrant workers so they can keep in contact with their loved ones back home and reach out to caseworkers to seek assistance. Both organizations will continue identifying and filling in the gaps for other pressing needs that the migrant workers are facing. And here's the URL that you guys can head to donate to either organization and help support migrant workers in Singapore.
Hey, Preeti, you tell everyone that this fundraiser is to directly respond to the needs of the migrant community right now, and a lot of these vulnerabilities are because of pre-existing gaps in the system, and so we cannot go back to business as usual after this, and also we're literally paying for peacetime inadequacies in a time of a pandemic.
Yep, that too. Anyways, a huge shout out to everyone else out there who's doing work to support the needs of the migrant community at this time. You guys can also check out some other ways you can help in the caption of this video. Also, don't forget that migrant workers in Singapore also include domestic helpers and sex workers too. So please do your part to support organizations such as Home and Aware who are doing amazing work as well.
Preeti, 8 PM already, we need to go clap.
Wisan, I think it's more helpful if you donate to this cause.
Oh, okay, can I donate now, but will you clap for me?
Can. I know not everyone has the ability to donate, but in your own personal capacities, please do whatever you can to help share this video with your friends, your parents, your family members, or anyone else you think can help raise funds for this cause. Everyone needs to see this video and understand the reality of what's happening to migrant workers in Singapore. Thank you. Wow, Wisan, should just engage Phua Chu Kang sia. He sing song that everybody listen.
Preeti, you still recording?
Yeah, remember to donate, yeah? Yeah, use your brain, use your brain, use your brain.